This is the most Reddit thread to ever happen. Here you see Spencer Cox and Wes Moore talking about how different they are and how you don't need to attack each other due to that. This is posted on r/Black People of Reddit, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before. I guess they aren't controversial enough to be on the front page often, as is evidenced by this thread calling for peace, I suppose. Unlike r/Black People Twitter, which is a categorical hate group pushing black supremacy, which is constantly mass upvoted to the top of Reddit, all while they accuse every Republican of being a slaver. Well, here we have this thread calling for peace and harmony with a title that agrees and 65,000 upvotes as of recording, but with 4.4 thousand comments. There's no hidden message here. No reading between the lines, no fine print which you need a comically gigantic magnifying glass in order to read. Redditors are overt with their toxicity. Let's take a look at some of this thread, which calls for peace and harmony amongst any and all Americans. Let's take a look at how nearly all of the 4.4 thousand comments are refuting peace and spitting on harmony as they demand death and destruction, as they cheer for genocide. Alright, I wanted to be a bit dramatic there, but there's no way I'm looking at all 4.4 thousand comments. Still, the top level comments will be mass upvoted, and I think that's proof enough of what Reddit generally believes. So obviously there's some Epstein file commentary, some anti-rich people commentary. You always have those, and there's nothing technically wrong with them. It's something that everyone sort of agrees with. That's a kind of a bipartisan thing, at least if you're smart enough to believe in both of those things. The whole like anti-oligarchy things, like I feel like this is something that everyone should have been hyper aware of for a long time, but recently it's become, I don't know, maybe people are just sick of the war between the left and right. Like, it's always been an issue. The super rich, the corpocracy controlling everyone. Like, every politician's got money. It's not some sort of secret thing, but only recently do you see a lot of people talking about it. However, what you still see more of is, F this, cut Nazis out of your life. Yep, everyone you disagree with is a Nazi. That's all you have to do is just accuse someone. This worked back with the Obama versus McCain era, but Trump has done far too much for this harmony kumbaya nonsense now. So they're saying there's no harmony allowed, which means that it must be war then, right? Like, if not harmony, then violence. I mean, they're just straight up saying it, like I said. If you support someone that's totally fine with destroying the quality of life of everyone except multimillionaires, they have to be a multimillionaire to have a good quality of life, is what this person's saying. How insane is that? While enriching themselves and at the same time murdering innocent people, whatever that's supposed to mean, then I have a problem with you. We can't hang. So, like, who exactly are they talking about? Like, they're just saying that Republicans only want multimillionaires to exist and murder innocent people. Like, it's not even an accusation. It's just this vague air of BS that they're spreading. Like, they are just bending over and talking out of their ass. They're not addressing anyone or anything. They're just saying Republican bad. And on that note, look at their response with some sort of award. If you're cool with people who enjoy seeing folks who look like me, they are apparently unaware that they're posting a comment on the internet which does not convey their physical form. For all I know, this person's a Russian, white as snow, posting a psyop. Why would anyone upvote this? Why would anyone agree with it? Because they're bleeding hearts? Because they're bots? This message brought to you by white billionaires. That's one of the main things I've noticed now are these people who are like anti-corpocracy, anti-oligarchy. There's always, well, not always, but there's often this underlying belief of racism tied to it. White billionaires. It's okay if they're a black billionaire, right? It's okay if they're a brown billionaire or a red billionaire or a yellow billionaire, but not the white billionaires. They're the enemy. White people are the enemy. Don't forget that. That's the democracy's slogan. Here we have people attacking Spencer Cox. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know a whole lot about Spencer Cox or Wes Moore before reading this thread. I don't even think I've read Wes Moore's name before. I don't keep up with every single bit of politics. I mostly made this channel just because Reddit has been ruined by politics. not because I really care about politics. And I mean, I care more now than I did when I was younger, of course. But this Spencer Cox guy, they're all attacking him, and some of the things, he doesn't sound like the nicest of people, I'll say. But some of the things are just sort of left wing isms, like charges that the court of social opinion has placed on him, as opposed to actual charges. Like, he signed a bill to ban DEI. Well, the current iteration of DEI is just optics. It's hiring a black person so that it looks better for you as your logo has a black person on it. Not because that black person deserved their job, just because it makes your company look better to hire a black person, right? Like, that's what current DEI is. And weirdly, it's what the left wing supports, even though it's categorical prejudice. I mean, that's what it is. They're supporting prejudice. They're supporting hiring people based off of their appearance, based off of their culture, based off of things like that, gender identity or whatever. That's literal prejudice, and that's what they're in favor of. But hate Spencer Cox as much as you want. I'm not telling you not to hate him. What I'm saying is that hating Spencer Cox does not make every Republican bad. Hating Trump doesn't make every Republican bad. If that's the way you think, then hating one white person makes them all bad. Hating one black person makes them all bad. I mean, that's how these kinds of mindsets work. You don't just come out of the womb thinking, oh, I hate everyone of a certain skin color or gender or whatever. Instead, what happens is that you have bad experience. Well, you're either taught it by people you look up to, like your parents, or you have bad experiences. If Spencer Cox is your bad experience, if Donald Trump is your bad experience, and you're saying that's enough to destroy all Republicans, that's what you want to live in a single state authoritarian system ruled by the Democratic Party, then there's something seriously wrong with your problem solving skills. Hate Spencer Cox as much as you want, but that doesn't apply to everyone else. Hate him as much as you want, but that doesn't mean his message at the top of this where he says peace and harmony, that doesn't make that wrong. Like, you wouldn't say that an alcoholic who tells you to never drink is wrong. You wouldn't say that a meth head who tells you to never take meth is wrong. You'd say, oh, yeah, okay. So you may be wrong when you take meth or cocaine or whatever, but you're right when you say that I shouldn't do it. You can be wrong and right. You can be a hypocrite and still be right. Alcoholics who tell you to never start drinking, they might be hypocrites, but they're correct in what they say. Now, this one, this is just straight up bot tier. This would have been a great message before U.S. politics became about a fascist PDF who is literally setting about to destroy democracy. Politics has always torn families apart and destroyed relationships because it's about how we function as a society. It's about establishing the rules that everyone abides by. So when someone sets out to create an imbalanced system where they always win and you always lose, that person isn't your friend, and this is not something you want as part of your community. Politics isn't a game, it's deadly serious business. Most people don't look at politics as a business, and most people don't have their families torn apart by politics because politics abides to an entire country. It controls a country. But you know what America is right now? It's not a country. It's a bunch of immigrants from a bunch of countries who have all come to America, and then the left wing has made all of these immigrants, many of them illegal aliens, they've made them their political agenda, their political party. And this is what this person is, and well, I'm not saying they're an illegal alien or an immigrant for that matter. I'm saying they're part of the Democratic Party. They're part of the Democratic Party. They are part of those people saying that everyone's welcome, everyone's included, except for the people who disagree with me. They deserve to die. It's not just about immigrants, of course. An obvious fact, a lot of immigrant ideology is at odds with modern left-wingers, as the vast majority of the world is not going to be in favor of many beliefs regarding abortion or sexuality. This, too, is contradictorily part of the Democratic umbrella. They intend to gather all the bits and bobs, all the exiles, all the pariahs, all those who are either downtrodden and outcast or can at least be convinced that they're downtrodden and outcast, and considering that American women walk around nearly naked with R18 links plastered on the sides of their cars, claiming that they are sex slaves unless they're allowed to have a no-questions-asked abortion, it's very clearly no high hurdle to find people willing to weaponize greed-fueled pity. But to what end? They could have pushed for gay marriage, trans rights, and reasonable abortions, and they definitely would have won the 2024 elections, but they didn't. They went for the extremist route. They've taken problems affecting 1% of the population and made it their mission to put those above the 99% while simultaneously dehumanizing dissenters and encouraging left-wingers to disassociate from anyone who doesn't share their beliefs. They call MAGA a cult, and I often agree, but modern democracy is very cultish. The current left wing has shattered the country. This comment claims politics dictates families breaking apart, and to a certain degree they're right, but they lie about who is holding the hammer. Their very words seem to me an attack, telling me to draw lines in the sand, telling me to disassociate, all while they blame me for what they're doing. And I say me, I'm not actually a Republican or a Democrat, but that's basically what they're saying. It's like a cliche of a murderer saying, they made me do it. Oh, they made me murder them. Who made you, exactly? All of those fascists you've imagined? All of the Nazis that you've just plucked out of thin air? A country is a group of people who all have similar beliefs. And what political party has segregated itself from the existing state of this country? Democrats. The Democratic Party is what's changed. The Republican Party did not. The left wing is happy to tell you that. They're happy to call themselves progressives. They're happy to call the conservatives regressives. They're happy to call the traditionalists, the fundamentalists, bad and evil. The left wing is what's changed. The left wing is the country that has changed from the existing country. And now they're telling you that the people who were before are trying to split them apart? No, it's the Democrats that are doing that. And I don't disagree with every single thing the Democrats say, but I disagree with how they say it, how they go about it, and a lot of the things they do say I have some level of issue with. But most of the comments in this thread you will see as clever as this. What the actual F word? It's cringe. This is normalizing both sides, and one of those sides supports fascism, which supports the extinction of Americans, it arbitrarily says are expendable. This thread has over 4,000 comments in it, and as far as I can tell, almost every single one supports the extinction of Americans it arbitrarily says are expendable. Arbitrarily in that there's no proof that one of those sides supports fascism. People just keep saying that. They've heard it so much and they say it so much that they consider it truth, and proof is that they say it. Them saying it, that's proof. By the way, this isn't how you use the word extinction. There's no extinction of Americans. That's not how the word is used. The people in this thread, they're the ones who want to kill all the Americans that they arbitrarily say are expendable. And the fact that it's arbitrary is proven by them saying something with no proof, like calling them all fascists. Absolutely not. One party has the PDF, who just made healthcare unaffordable for millions after starving millions of Americans to get their way. They did this while providing tax cuts for the wealthy, building $200 million ballrooms, and having decadent Great Gatsby's parties. They are not the same. Yeah, there you go. Democrats state that no Democrat has ever done anything bad ever. It's impossible for a Democrat to do something bad, clearly. Now, I'm not defending the right wing. That's not the point of this. My point is not to defend Trump or MAGA or whatever. My point is that the left wing, they won't have peace and harmony. They simply refute it. They outright say it. Yeah, no, F this shit. They'll just tell you straight up the first thing they say. Never support lame shit like this. Boo these men. They'll just straight up tell you, in such eloquence, no less. They don't care about peace and harmony. They only want death and destruction. It is very patronizing, I'll give you that. It's extremely patronizing, but someone's got to say it, and whether they're patronizing or not, like, it's better for someone to say it than no one to say it, because take a look at this thread. No one's saying it. They're telling you outright. All of these people who are just saying F off, they're not saying leave me alone. They're saying that they will kill everyone who does not agree with the Democratic Party. They're not just Republicans, mind you. The vast majority of the planet, we're talking somewhere between 7 and 8 billion, wouldn't agree with modern left-wingisms of the USA. And they are saying that they will just kill them. It's basically, when they say F off, that's what they mean. When they say less of this, less of peace and harmony, that's what they mean. They're saying that everyone they disagree with needs to die. That's their iteration of peace and harmony. And you can scroll down through this thread if you'd like. It's right here. You just Black People Reddit comments 1OWJBC4. That's all you need to type in. And you can read through all the comments yourself, assuming it hasn't been deleted. I don't know why it would be, unless one of the mods is hyper left-wing and doesn't like these positive vibes. I don't know. But yeah, just scroll down through it yourself and see what you think. As for me, well, it's what frustrates me so much about these people who sit on social media, like Reddit, claiming that everyone who disagrees with them needs to die, is that they're not the high-minded, deep-thinking philosopher that they think themselves. The vast majority of them spend more time thinking about what TV show they want to watch than what politics they think about. They don't even parrot talking points. They only parrot accusations that they learned from other parrots parroting more parrots still. They'll say something like anti-abortionist as a slur, devaluing debate and slamming shut the door for any clear conversation about the rights and wrongs of abortion, insisting that it's an all-or-nothing topic and that any disagreement makes you subhuman and deserving of death with no moral strings attached. This kind of thing, this is why Redditor is a slur. No matter how many times you extend an olive branch to them, they will slap it away and scream in your face. And this thread is proof of that. They don't want conversation because they cannot have one. They don't want debate because they don't know what to say. Accusations are arguments to them. The point is, let's be honest. The Democrats on Reddit and Blue Sky, they don't care about proof. The screeching teenage angst of a 27-year-old collegiate who just learned yesterday that Hitler wasn't a fictional character is all the proof a Redditor needs to start the fire. They just need one angry person holding up a fake flag, waving a fake sign, all while they sing Billy Joel and place a stolen Nobel Peace Prize around their own neck. Well, I prefer proof, and I don't accept this lack of proof. I don't accept nope as an argument. But as we get near the bottom, as we get near the things that haven't been mass voted by bots, you can see that there are people who are agreeing with the comment of peace and harmony. There are even people like this person. I want nothing to do with MAGA. Republicans are fine. MAGA, however, like they're sort of like half and half, halfway between being a Redditor extremist. They're not totally crazy, is what I'm saying. When you go to the top of things, when you go to what people see, and this is what people see, that's what's important. That's what people don't realize. Like, when politicians run, it's not just what the politicians say, it's what you see on social media. It's just something that I'm sick of. And I don't know, on that note, I guess I'll end it. Here's a positive thread for once. Don't even have to go to another thread to mention it. Unfortunately, after all those comments where people didn't give a crap about this positivity, well, guess it's not so positive. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Take care now. Bye-bye then.